You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio. Parasearch Radio, broadcasting to the UK and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to The Spectral Zone with host Kaz Rooney.
Good evening everyone and welcome to the Spectral Zone on Parasearch Radio. I'm Kaz Rooney and tonight I'm being joined by the lovely MJ Dickson, who is the founder of Sage Paranormal in Paragon. Hi MJ, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. You've came and joined me so that we can talk about tricks of the trade.
That's it. We all know there's a few out there.
So, what do you think? Why do you think people would use tricks of the trade?
Well, first of all, I mean, there's so many charlatans out there that are only in it for money. And unfortunately, you know, the paranormal industry, and I'm not talking just mediums and psychics and things, I'm talking about paranormal investigators as well. You know, there's so many people out there that are so willing to do things for attention and for money making. So instead of it being doing a public event and being honest about things, you know, if nothing happens, then nothing happens. You can't just switch things on. That's not how this works.
No.
And you know, they want guest satisfaction. They want their people to go, oh my gosh, I had an amazing night. You know, this and this and this happened. And so they tend to fake a lot of things, not only on public events, but in videos and audio files and things as well, just to get that recognition, that name for themselves, which, to be fair, once you're caught, you can forget it. That's your entire reputation gone.
Exactly. So, I mean, there is a fair amount of pressure. Everyone seems to want to outdo everyone else.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants to
really
be the
sad.
best at this and best at that. And
you know, it always makes me laugh. I mean, I've been in this industry working in the paranormal field for over 10 years now.
Yeah.
And credibility and your reputation and just honesty is such a big thing for me, your own integrity. And it's so sad to sit back and watch a lot of the newer teams, unfortunately, that are popping up everywhere that don't take it as seriously. They're just in it for 15 seconds of fame or fortune. And over the years, you know, I've seen so many teams faking things. I've seen so many mediums faking things.
Yeah.
And it's such a shame because it brings the overall credibility of the entire field down.
Now, I mean, we've all been on investigations and I have seen things done that I'm pretty sure I was sitting going, well, that isn't right. What sort of things have you came across?
Oh gosh, the usual starting off with table tipping, people putting pressure on the table, Ouija boards, people moving the planchettes around. Another big one these days, it seems to be putting fear into people. So leading up to the investigation, it's, oh, everything's demonic in this event, in this location, and it's hashtag it's a demon, as I always say.
Yeah.
Because that seems to be the bandwagon that everybody's on at the moment.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's so funny. I was saying that I was speaking to a few teams about my paranormal convention that's coming up next month, the Sage Paragon. And I said to them, hey, why don't you come and join us? You know, you can network, etc., etc. It's a great opportunity to meet some really knowledgeable people in the field. And so many of them, I took a few screenshots of it just for my own keeping to be aware of it. But so many teams replied saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry, we're doing a demonic case that weekend." And I was just thinking, geez, the demons are bloody busy on the 10th and 11th of November, I can tell you that.
The thing is with the demon thing, I think that's more prevalent over in the USA than it is here. But it's becoming a real thing over here.
Absolutely it is. And so, leading up to investigations, people are saying, well, this activity is demonic, it's scary, it's this, it's that. And they're then faking things to kind of suit that, because everybody's on edge, and the slightest, tiniest little bump, creaky building that's 800 years old here in the UK, everything bumps and creaks. Yeah. Everything knocks. Everything can, there's so many different things that it could be, yet investigators on these events, if you can call them investigators, more ghost hunters, shall I say, they're more inclined to every little knock and creak. It's definitely paranormal, which, again, that's not how it works.
No. You've got to go and try and find something else. You've got to look for something else.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not...
I've seen so many people fake things. We actually, personally, I was on an investigation, and this was about 4 years ago, and we captured a full-bodied apparition on camera. And I mean, there is no denying that there is an apparition in this video, okay? Mm-hmm. It is so crystal clear. It is a figure that steps out into the middle of the doorway and just disappears. It's fake.
Yeah.
It took me, and this is my own footage, on my own event, well, not even an event, it was a small private investigation, there were only 4 of us there. And I must have watched that footage. Literally, it's about a 10-second, not even a 10-second clip. Mm-hmm. And I must have watched that footage for about 5 hours straight, just over and over and over, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. I mean, as far as everybody on the team was concerned, that was a full-blown apparition, and I was able to debunk it. It happened to be just camera angles and IR lighting.
Yeah.
And it was a trick of the camera. It was 2 investigators. Do apologize. It was 2 investigators who were walking down the corridor, and there were people of the 2 investigators on the other side of the corridor. And it was just the way we had turned our cameras that we missed each other. The cameras caught it. When we're moving the IR light by turning the camera, the person in the doorway looked like they just disappeared. There was nothing paranormal about it whatsoever. It was another team member. But if I show you that footage, I could go viral with full-blown apparition on camera.
But you didn't.
No, but I didn't, because that's not what you do.
No.
So, there's so many different things that people rush into. There's so many people who have captured something like that, where it is just another team member. And instead of debunking it, and instead of looking into it further and trying their best to say, well, hey, I'm not so sure about this, let me look into it, they've just released it and gone, oh my God, apparition caught on camera. And, somebody else, it just takes one other investigator to debunk that.
I actually had an event, I won't say where, but we had these letter tiles, like the things you would get in Scrabble. Little letter alphabet tiles, and they were all scattered all over the table. And these 2 gentlemen kept disappearing, and they kind of disappeared out into the hallway where this table was, but it sounded like they went upstairs, so nobody bothered following them. But when we went back out, all of a sudden these letters were spelling out something associated with that location. And they're like, oh my God, look. And I was like, no. I went, well, that's just rubbish. You mix them all up again. But I've had that. I've had people throwing stuff.
That's a very good one, yeah. A lot of
Coins,
people throwing things.
throwing coins
Yeah.
behind them. That seems to be a popular one.
I was actually, do you know what? And this is a bit of an investigation that I still am unsure about. There is a possibility that this was faked. If it wasn't, it was awesome. However, I did not trust the people that were on this event. So I questioned everything. Basically, we were investigating an old theatre, and there were probably around 10 of us. Majority of us were sitting on the stage in the theatre. There was a bowl of peppermints, imperial mints, on the table. And I hadn't seen anyone go near this bowl of mints at all. Yet we had mints thrown at us to the point where when they hit the floor, they shattered. They were thrown with such force.
Wow.
Now, I didn't see anyone moving to be able to throw something with that amount of force. I didn't see anything that would suggest that it was actually faked. So whoever did it, if it was faked, did it very well. You know, that it was very unnoticeable. But because I didn't trust the people fully that were on the investigation, because I did not know them, and it seemed too good to be true, I discredited that straight away. You know, if you cannot with all certainty say, this is what I've captured 100%, then you have to disregard it. If the environment is not a controlled environment, and there isn't that level of trust within the people who are investigating that particular location, you can't take it as this is definite evidence. Which is a shame, because we have probably captured so much stuff that is actually paranormal and had to push it aside in that folder where do I share it or don't I? I have many of those folders.
Do you think
my biggest thing? Sorry to carry on. My biggest thing with Sage Paranormal is a lot of people go, oh, but you're Sage Paranormal, but you don't release evidence videos every 4 days. I don't have, oh, look at this amazing apparition. Oh, look at this. I don't release any of it. The investigations that I do is purely for my research. And I do paranormal events where I take people out and paranormal holidays and that sort of thing. But those, I don't consider those investigations for actual evidence. You know, if something happens on an event, that's great. If you have a personal experience, that's amazing. If we happen to capture something, that's awesome. But I'm not going to put that out there and be like, oh my God, look at my evidence, because it's not a controlled investigation.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like you said, that's for your personal research. It's not meant to be public, so people can't really complain about that, can they?
Yeah, but, you know, you see all these teams out there, like I say, that are making things, that are putting everything that they can out there. I mean, I've heard of teams here in the UK who are faking EVPs. They're whispering and that whole thing. They're manipulating the file, they're editing it and going, oh my God, look at this Class A EVP. And I'm like, honey, no. You can clearly hear that's been faked. Just no.
Do you think it is solely down to the pressure, though, that they would do things like this just to be noticed, just to be seen and to get that recognition?
Absolutely. You know, people think that if you're chucking out video after video after video after investigation, that, you know, you're going to work your way up in the field somehow and get that little bit of fame. But in all honesty, I mean, the people who are known in this field for the work that they do don't put out those videos. They don't go on investigation after investigation after investigation, day in, day out. They don't brag about everything constantly. They're recognized because of the research and the work that they put in for the field behind the scenes. You know, so that's where their recognition comes in, not my 15 seconds of fame on YouTube.
Doesn't stop the YouTube channels, though. They're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. What I do like, I mean, when it's hard to fake things is when Facebook has given us the ability to go live, so has YouTube, so has Instagram, even though it's very, very short. But that's good when teams can do that. I think that takes away any chance of them fake. Well, not any chance, but it takes away a lot of the chance of them faking stuff.
It does minimize things quite a bit. The only thing that is really annoying about it is, come on, guys, you don't have to act like Zach Bagans.
No.
You know, I was watching a live video of an investigator the other day, and he was stood in front of this alleged witch house, and it was very much like, this is the most haunted location in the world. And I'm thinking, oh, dear Lord.
No, it's not.
You know, what evidence do you have? And another thing is, you know, people saying that, going back to everyone saying like, oh, I'm working on a demonic case because somehow saying that is going to get them this recognition in the field. Mm-hmm. And they're going, oh, you know, I'm going on this case and it's demonic. Well, how do you know it's demonic if you haven't investigated it yet?
Well, I was actually having a conversation about, I mean, the demonic thing, I think it'll probably disappear after Halloween.
Let's hope so.
Let's be honest, it kind of, everything goes up in the air towards Halloween. So
absolutely have a surge in it, yeah.
It's happening all the time towards Halloween. But we were having a conversation about table tipping. Now, I'm not a big fan of table tipping.
Mm-hmm.
I really am not a big fan of table tipping at all. But I mean, it's the same with Ouija boards. They're so easily manipulated. Mm-hmm. It drives me insane. I really do.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because I'm going to give you two examples because I was exactly the same, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you two examples of where I sat back and went, actually, maybe there is possibly something to this. Mm-hmm. Maybe it is worth looking into even more. Mm-hmm. Now, one of those was, again, table tipping. Mm-hmm. We were on an investigation at the Spirit House in Evesham. And those that know the place, it is tiny. You can only fit about 5 or 6 people in the location at any given time in any room comfortably without it being overcrowded. It really is tiny. And they had this tiny little table in the back for table tipping. And I was kind of poo-pooing the whole thing, going, oh yeah, let me put my hands out like I'm in a seance, and you know, like kind of ripping off the whole old school Victorian way of doing things. Mm-hmm. And I thought, do you know what? The people that are here with me, I trust with my life. Yeah. The handful of people that were on that investigation, I knew would not fake anything, or they were serious investigators. And so I said to Liz Cormel, who's on the investigation with me, I said to her, I want to do table tipping. I want to do this for research purposes. I want to document this entire experience as I can. Mm-hmm. And I want it to be just myself and you on the table, because I trust you with my life, and I want it to be controlled, and I want to see what happens. Well, in this particular room, none of our video cameras would work at all. They kept malfunctioning. Okay. However, the recorders were fine. So we have all the audio from this session. And one of the things that really struck me was we started doing the table tipping session. The table started moving, which took me by surprise. Mm-hmm. It really did. I honestly didn't think that we would have any movement whatsoever. And it started spinning towards the left. And in the recording, you can hear me go like, could you make this go the other way? And when I say that, you hear Liz say, just throw it. You know, trying to get a reaction. You know, if you can move it, why not throw it? Yeah. So on the recording, you hear me say, can you make it go the other way? You hear Liz say, throw it. And you hear a third female's voice say, lift me up higher. It is crystal clear. It is Class A, crystal clear EVP.
Wow.
Now, because of that moment, I sat back and I went, hang on a second. is there possibly something to this? You know, if you take all the faking and all of that out, that all the teams are doing, you could actually use this for communication. This could be a genuine tool. There seems to be something more to it. Again, same thing with the witch board.
Yeah.
Exactly the same place, exactly the same investigation, same night. We sat down around the seance table, set up like an old Victorian seance parlor. The rest of the people involved decided they wanted to do a witch board. I decided that I was going to sit back and document everything that was going on. You know, changes in the atmosphere, the EMF, the temperatures, see if we can get any EVPs or anything like that. And so I sat back in the chair, which was this old creaky wooden chair. So you hear me on the recording as they're opening the board to start the Ouija board session. You hear me say, I'm just going to rest my arm properly. And so I rest my arm on the chair, and you hear a voice come through on EVP saying, using the portal. It almost sounds like one spirit talking to another saying, come through, using the portal. And that was quite possibly one of the first nights that I'd actually seen verifiable information come from the board.
Yeah.
But we had that EVP to back it up. Again, I'm not saying this happens every single time because so many people fake it, but there's just two examples of we can't brush off everything is fake, because personally I've had experiences that suggest otherwise, suggest that these things can be used. It's just such a pity that we have every Tom, Dick and Harry out there faking so much of it.
It's a shame. It is a shame, because one of my bugbears is when pictures is taken.
Oh, gosh.
And the big red circle. And it's right here. The big red circle. I mean, it's almost become like a piece of paranormal kit, the big red circle, to point out what they want you to see.
Exactly.
You could look at that picture without the circle and see nothing, but with the big red circle, they're pointing out what they want you to look at and what they want you to see.
Absolutely. So here's another thing. A lot of people come up to me and they go, hey, MJ, have a look at this photo that I took. And again, yes, big red circle. And I'm going, okay. And they're like, what do you think? And I go, well, first of all, I was not at this investigation. So I don't know what time of year, what the moisture was like in the air, what, if you're in a location, the dust particles, what, there's too many
variables.
There's way too many things that I have no idea about to be able to make an informed decision of what I see in this particular picture, right? And I say to them, okay, so where are your control photos? And they go, wait, what? I'm like, okay. So before you start your investigation, you should be walking around, taking EMF readings throughout the location. You should be doing temperature readings throughout the location. You should be taking photos of the entire location beforehand, so that if anything is moved out of place or seems out of place, you have something to reference when you go back to it. Another thing that I do on my investigations is if I'm doing EVP work and I'm with several people, I will have them say their name out loud and then repeat it as a whisper on a recording. This is a reference recording. And this is because your voice sounds completely different as a whisper.
Yes, that's true.
Right? So you always have some reference to go back to. When you're taking photos during an investigation, you should always be taking control photos. You should always take several photos, between 3 and 5 photographs in the exact same position within seconds of each other.
Yeah.
And the reason being is if you have an anomaly in one photograph, and you have it in every single other photograph, chances are that it is just it's pareidolia, or it's matrixing. Your brain is trained to find faces and patterns and that sort of thing that you're automatically going to pick it up. So if you're seeing it in every single photograph, then then it's not paranormal. However, if you have a succession of these control photos and you only have one photo with the strange anomaly in it, well, now that's something that you can look at further.
Yeah.
So again, with people circling things and claiming that it is a spirit. My favorite is cigarette smoke. It is amazing. I was in this graveyard, and there was all of a sudden, this white wispy thing in front of the camera. Okay, but you took the photo with the flash on. Yes. And you had a cigarette in your hand. Well, yes, we were outside. I'm like, okay. So that's called cigarette smoke, honey. It's not an apparition. I actually got into a really big argument with somebody, and I felt really bad about this.
Okay.
Because they had shown me this photo, video footage of this weird anomaly, this orb of light that it's from a CCTV camera in an old bar, and this orb of light is moving back and forth within the frame. So it's not like it's moving out of frame like a dust particle or whatever and then floating back in. Literally within the same frame, you could see it move from left to right and up and down, and it was just hovering around in this certain area.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks, at first glance, it looks amazing. It's like, wow, let's look into this a bit more. And what I realized was it was actually a dust particle on a cobweb that was hanging in front of the camera. And it was like breeze. It was blowing this cobweb up and down, and the IR light reflecting off this dust particle, which made it look like this orb of light floating around in the same area.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, honey, that's just dust. It's just dust on a cobweb. And he got so angry.
People do, though. They do, MJ. They get so upset when you turn around and tell them the orbs are dust.
Well, don't bring something that you think is evidence to me to debunk and ask my opinion. And then when I debunk it, tell me I'm lying and that you know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, okay then, off you go. Carry on showing the world your dust particles, but you're not going to get very far in the industry. You're not helping to move this industry forward in any way.
I have actually had the orb argument, I believe Penny has as well, with Kerry, who we have both said to Kerry 99% of the time orbs can be explained.
Absolutely. Moisture, dust, bugs,
exactly.
Particles in the air.
Yes.
Pollen. Oh my goodness, the list goes on.
But there's that 1% that can't be. And Kerry gets really upset and goes, no. It's just all rubbish. It don't exist. We've had
there is that 1%, where you do manage to capture anomalies every now and again that are quite unexplained. And again, that's the very meaning of the word paranormal.
Yeah.
It's something that is not normal. We have no way of explaining it as yet.
True. Now, one thing that was brought up, this happened actually a couple of years ago to me. I had a very good friend who's a researcher. She's a really good researcher. But she joined a team. Now, the team were all going away to a location they hadn't been to before. Mm-hmm. She was going to be doing all the research. And she came to me and said, I don't know what to do. I said, what's wrong? She went, well, the medium. She went, well, none of us have been to this location. I went, right. And she says, and I've done all the research. And I went, okay. She says, and the medium has contacted me and told me I need to send her all the research.
Oh, ouch. Now, this brings up another big argument in the field where a lot of people say that you should do your research before the investigation so that you go in prepared. And a lot of people are on the other side where they say do your research afterwards and find out what part of your investigation matched the research. That way you're going in with a blank slate.
Yeah.
Now, because I am a psychic medium, I don't do my research beforehand because that would just be pointless for me. I don't want to preload myself with information. And then I can't validate what I'm picking up, whether it's real or not, because have I been influenced by this research? So because I don't work with a team, it is me, so when I go into investigations, I don't preload myself. If you're working on an event where you have somebody that can do the research and keep that separate, fantastic. Then do that. But I don't think your investigators or your mediums should know anything prior to the investigation. You should have one person on the team that has that information that can verify everything afterwards.
See, I'm on that
again,
side. I prefer it. I don't like knowing the information before I go. I don't want the information.
I'll say, oh, I'm going to go and investigate so-and-so. And people go, great, tell us about it. And I go, I know nothing about it. I think I'll tell you afterwards.
What I tend to find is I say to people, I'm going to such a place, and they'll go, oh, we went there and this happened and that happened. And I'm sitting going, no.
It's freeloading, which is why I don't tell people where I'm investigating. I very rarely tell people when I'm going for research. I don't tell people where I'm going. You barely even see it on any social media other than the fact that I say I'm going to an investigation. Because I don't want that.
Well, I actually went to a location I'd never been to before. The me team walked in, and the owner of the location proceeded to try and take us all around and show us all around the location and tell us all about it. And I am dodging this poor man. And they must have thought, she is really, really rude. Until somebody piped up and said, Kaz doesn't like you know anything, that's why she's avoiding you. It isn't she's being rude. And he went, oh, right. Ended up, I went outside until I left.
Well, so here's something that we are doing at the Sage Paranormal Convention next month. Okay, so we are one of the first teams to investigate, well, I think we are one of the first groups of people to actually investigate Coombe Abbey properly, right? Okay. And I have tried to avoid history. I've tried to avoid as much of it as possible. I mean, I do know little snippets.
Yeah.
So during the investigation, I will not be working as a medium. I will be working purely with EVP and several other devices and cameras that we're going to use, but more on the scientific side of things rather than mediumship side, because I've already been exposed to several bits and bobs of information about this particular location. And what we have organized is, this is on Thursday the 10th of November. On Friday, we have a historian from Coombe Abbey telling us all the tales, the ghost stories, the myths, the legends, and all the actual history of our investigation. So
well
we're going
done.
to sit down and do all of that the next day with the historian.
See, that's a plan.
Yeah.
That is a good plan. But I mean, I have heard of this before. Mediums who have requested the research before they've been to a location. I have heard of it before, so it wasn't entirely a shock. And unfortunately, that friend of mine left that group because of it, because she was so uncomfortable. She went, no, I'm not doing that. And she left.
Well, and here's another thing. I don't know if you are aware of this, but a lot of locations, paranormal locations worldwide, have a red herring.
Okay.
So they plant the story in the history.
Yeah.
It's a complete and utter made-up fake story about the history of the location, and they work it in so well. I mean, it's really believable. You wouldn't know any better.
Okay.
So if you were doing the research beforehand and preloading yourself, and I've seen this happen on so many events, where I've walked into the place and I've picked up, like this story does not fit here. Like, I don't pick this up here at all.
Yeah.
I don't, I could be wrong. Obviously, all mediums can't pick up everything in location. But I've walked in and I've just gone, no, this doesn't seem to fit right.
Yeah.
And I keep my mouth shut. And there'll be another medium on the investigation that's like, oh yes, I see Johnny, the little boy, and I can see the owner of the location going, sure. Have you done any research? No, I never researched beforehand. So you haven't read the website? No, why would I do that? I want to preload myself. That's interesting, because Johnny is just made up and Johnny's on the website. So you kind of, it's a way of weeding out the fakes. And I think it's great.
I do. I think that's a good idea, actually. That is a very good idea. But I mean
wasn't it Derek Cora or somebody that got caught or something like that, where they planted information about a location?
Yes. Yes, I believe he said a name.
Mm-hmm.
And the name was planted.
Yes. Yeah.
On a very popular TV show.
Yep. See,
but I mean,
that's why you just don't lie, because you could get yourself caught in it.
And I mean, let's be fair to TV shows, they are for entertainment purposes.
Absolutely.
But there's faking and then there's completely faking all the time, which is ridiculous. I mean, like planting knives and things.
Yeah, or mysterious dolls that just burst into flames.
Yeah, things like that are just... No, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Happens every investigation.
Could you imagine?
God, I'd be a millionaire if that actually happened at every investigation.
Do you know if that actually happened on every investigation, we would all be out investigating every single night?
You know, it's funny because whenever I host an event and I have a lot of newbies that are first on an event, they've watched the TV shows, they love them, that sort of thing, and I tell them beforehand, I'm like, this is not Ghost Adventures. This is not Most Haunted. This is not Paranormal Lockdown. But to be fair, they're probably the realest ones out there. And I tell them, you will not capture 15 EVPs before the first commercial break. Because that is not how this works. What you don't see is the team behind the scenes are in that location where it says 24-hour lockdown or whatever the case may be. They're in there for days.
Yeah.
They are in there for hours and hours and hours before they capture anything worth showing. Now, there's a lot of TV shows out there that fake a hell of a lot. We are aware of this. It is TV. It is entertainment purposes. But I am pleasantly surprised and very pleased to say that I recently worked on Paranormal Lockdown Season 4. My part was quite small. All I did was help them find all their locations.
Okay.
So I have a very long title on the show. It is Production Location Consultant.
Wow. That's quite a title.
I know, it's amazing. It's a whole mouthful. So basically, you know, I just helped Nick and Katrina and them choose some decent locations here within the UK and helped send them a little bit of research on a couple of them and told them about my experiences in investigating some of these places. And when because the Margam Castle episode just aired, and I was actually there with them when they were filming that. Not the whole 72-hour lockdown, just for a bit of it. And when I got there, I was like, okay, so production crew's here, everybody's here, this is awesome, it's very exciting, it's nice to see what happens behind the scenes, and how this is all put together. And I was like, so, where's the hotel that you guys are staying in? And they were like, what hotel? And I'm like, yeah, funny. No, seriously, what hotel are you guys staying in? And Rob was like, I'm in a hotel down the road, because he leaves.
Yeah.
He even said on the show.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm out of here. I'm staying in a nice, cushy hotel, and that's it, you know? And I was like, so, no, Katrina, like, seriously, where do you guys stay? She's like, here, for 72 hours. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're bullshitting me. But I was convinced that, you know, when the cameras turn off, that's it. They go back to a hotel, they get a few hours decent sleep, that sort of thing, and they come back and do it all over. But no, they, you know, I remember the look on Katrina's face when she realized the Margam Castle had showers that worked. She was so excited. And it was really amazing that they are so genuine. And it was really refreshing to actually see that. You know, you don't have that very often.
That is true. And I mean, when people watch TV shows and things are faked, I mean, if it happens to be a location that maybe one of us would go to, that has caused me problems in the past. I've had people turn up that were terrified.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely terrified.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I've had the same thing where, you know, I've had people turn up to an investigation and they've seen the TV shows, they've seen, you know, the whole, again, hashtag it's a demon thing, working it up. It's entertainment purposes, a lot of it. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
But then they turned up at this place and they were so terrified, and they're putting out such fear that, you know, that is the overall energy that you're going to have on that investigation then.
Yeah.
If you're going into a location with that fear, with that anxiety, with all of that preloaded, then you're not going to have a very good night.
No.
Chances are the activity and everything that you have is going to be on a more negative vibe. Chances are you're going to bring everybody down on that investigation. It's not going to be a very enjoyable evening.
Yeah.
You're going to come away feeling like you wasted your time, that maybe you didn't get your money's worth on the event, that whatever the case may be. Going in there with a more positive vibe, a more positive energy, and a more open outlook is going to get you a better event, a better investigation all around.
Yeah. I mean, right, so people who are going along to events, what would you say they need to watch out for or be asking for, MJ? What would you say they need to... Yeah.
Gosh, it goes down to when you arrive at the event. I mean, have they told you what you're walking into beforehand? If you've never been to the event, the location, do you know the health and safety things that you need to look out for? First of all, are there low beams? Are there staircases? Are there halls? Are there whatever the case may be? You know, are the team doing the work to keep you safe? Just for the general things. Because if they're not even putting the effort into making you aware of all the hazards and things that are not paranormal, how can you then trust these people during an investigation to look after you if, excuse the phrase, crap hits the fan?
Yeah.
You know, if there is actually something there that could potentially scratch you, harm you, push you, whatever the case may be, if these people aren't qualified enough to even inform you prior to everything about the health and safety hazards, then what are the chances they're going to look after you when something actually does happen? On the faking it side of things, I mean, you guys, you want to keep an eye on the people. You want to see how controlled it is. If the person who is leading that, or the people who are leading that particular investigation are not within your sight pretty much at all times, if they keep disappearing, if every single knock, creak, and bump is definitely paranormal, if everybody's doing the "Oh my God, did you hear that?" Then it's definitely something to be wary of. Don't jump on that bandwagon. Don't fall into that trap. Table tipping, Ouija boards, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Controlled investigating, then okay, that's great. But just I don't know. There's so many things that you have to watch out for, to be honest.
One of my friends has actually absolutely delighted me. It's taken her a while, but she has actually designed, built and made a hands-free Ouija board, which just thrills me to bits, because this is the thing with Ouija boards and the planchette. I'm like, no, it can be moved around. So this has been in her head. And for about 18 months, she's been working on this and made a hands-free Ouija board, which we used at Fort Redoubt, and it was really good.
That is amazing, and I want to try that.
I will say to her.
Yes, I need this in my life. I want to give this a try. This is amazing. And this is the thing. There's so many people out there building so many pieces of equipment and that. I mean, for instance, and this is another one, for God's sake. Using apps.
Yes.
Ghost radar. Are you serious? I mean,
there are people who do believe it's real.
I know. Excuse me. I know. Which is really sad. But here's the thing, right? So you're now using your phone, and I'm not dissing every single app out there, because I don't know enough about them. You know what I mean? I haven't tried all of them personally. I haven't done my own research. So do not get me wrong. I am not throwing every single one of them under the bus. But this is what I am going to say, is that when you're on an investigation, and this is something for people to look out for as well during an investigation, you should not have a mobile phone anywhere near you during an investigation. The reason being is that the phone signals will set off a lot of the equipment. So they will interfere with K2 meters, they'll interfere with Mel meters, they'll interfere with REM pods, it'll interfere with a lot of different equipment. It will give you false positives. And so, you shouldn't have the phone on you at all. And a lot of people have that argument of, well, it's on aeroplane mode or flight mode. But you know what? That doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
You should not have it on you at all. So if you're seeing this amazing K2, going crazy, and one of the people standing there with a phone in their pocket, well, now you have to disregard that completely. Another thing to look out for, two-way radios.
Yeah.
Because radios set off all the equipment. And all teams that have they've got all this fancy lights and all this fancy equipment and everything, and they're a big team, and they've got these two-way radios to keep in touch with each other during the investigation of different areas. It just takes one of them to silently click that button on that radio, and then it'll set the signal and interfere with everything.
Yeah.
Chances are, if they're far away enough and you have a REM pod or something that's going to make a noise or whatever, and you don't see them doing that, chances are you're not going to hear the bleep of that radio through everyone's, oh my God!
Yeah.
So you're not even going to notice. So just be wary. If you're on an investigation and they are using radios, be careful.
The thing I would say as well is, I mean, if you see something you're not sure about, or if someone is saying to you, oh my God, this knocking's got to be paranormal, feel free to go around the room and look for every other explanation you can find. Don't just take it as given because you're told that. You're there to investigate, so go investigate.
Absolutely. You know what? If I see something or something happens during an investigation, I am the first person to grab somebody else and go, hey, double check this. Oh my God, what did you see? Let's debunk this. Let's figure this out. And if we're all standing there going, holy crap, that just happened, and we have no way of explaining it, well, that's pretty cool. And that's why we do this.
Yeah. But I feel like sometimes people, especially on events, they take things as given.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of, well, we've been told this, so that's fact. You still have the right to go and try and find another explanation.
And here's another thing. Ask a question.
Yes.
Because
it's as if they're scared to offend people by asking too many questions.
Absolutely. Because everyone is offended about everything these days. But here's the thing, right? So if I do an event and this absolutely amazes me on every public investigation that I do, right? So you buy your ticket, you come on Ghost Hunt or Paranormal Investigation, whatever you want to call it, and you get there and you're super excited. Oh my God, we're going to find some ghosts. This is awesome. And then during the investigation, you go quiet.
Yeah.
You go silent. And people just sit there. And I'm like, okay, do you want to ask questions? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, all right, let me explain something to you, honey. You've paid money to be here to investigate. I'm not here to put on a show for you. I'm not here to lead the whole evening. You are on an investigation, so you get involved. I'm going to teach you how to use the equipment. I'm going to show you how it works. I'm going to tell you a bit about it. I want you to use that equipment yourself so that you can see what's going on. I want you to ask questions because perhaps whatever's there will respond to you rather than to me. I want you to see it for yourself. So when you are booking a public event, try and go with a team that are there to teach you and that allow you to use the equipment for yourself. Teams that allow you to get more involved and to ask questions and to question everything without getting offended. Because that is part of the investigation. If you want the fright night and you're just going to sit there and let these people put on the show, and a lot of the time, that is why teams feel like they need to fake things, because it's the pressure of, I'm putting on a show for you. You're there, you're just sitting there scrutinizing my every move, and I have to deliver something for you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why they end up faking stuff as well.
Yeah, true. Pressure. A lot of pressure.
Absolutely.
I would like to point out we do know lots and lots and lots of teams, and they are very good teams. They are not faking stuff. So we're not bashing teams. Just to be clear.
Absolutely, we are not bashing any teams in particular. I'm just saying that, be wary. There are teams out there that unfortunately do these things. Now, if you're looking for, off the top of my head, just I've been on several other teams' investigations, just to go see what it's all about. Go hang out with them, and because most of the time I know them. And I want to support other teams. I want to buy my ticket. I don't expect to get it for free. I want to buy my ticket like any other guest. I want to go on their events because I want to support them, because I want to see how they work. And I've been on several investigations with Chris and them from haunted houses. Mm-hmm. And do you know what? I was so pleasantly surprised the first time I went on one of their events. Their health and safety, their organizational skills, their experiments that they set up, their everything that they had done on a public event was brilliant. It was really well done. And I thought to myself, geez, why can't we have more teams like this out there? If you're going to host public events as a ghost hunting company, then be that organized.
Yeah.
Be genuine.
Yeah.
So I'm just and a shout out to Chris and them because they are amazing. But guys, you could they're leading by example, and you could really follow a thing or two from companies like that.
See, this is the thing as well. When people come out with me, or like I'm doing the Chocolate Factory at the end of this month, and it's mostly investigators that are actually coming. But even the ones who aren't investigators, if they want to go off to a certain studio and do something on their own, that's fine, go and do that. But sometimes you find that people are like, oh, well, we can't just say, can we just go off and do an EVP session? And that, yes, you can. Open your mouth.
The only thing that I don't allow, and this is a personal thing on my events, is and I don't even do this myself.
Yeah.
Don't ever investigate alone.
Or not alone, but like if a pair of them wanted to go off.
Absolutely, yes. If there's 2 or 3 of you that want to sneak off and do a little EVP session or something, or check something out, feel free to ask. You should be able to ask. You should feel comfortable enough on the event that you're on to be able to say, hey, would you mind?
Yeah.
Now, they might send one of their team members to oversee it, and it'd be you and your friend and another team member, which is perfectly fine because this is health and safety things as well, and they're looking out for you. Mm-hmm. Now, so I don't really allow people to go off investigating on their own. I don't, some people do slip off every now and again, and it will be people that I trust, that I know are experienced investigators, that are just popping out for about 10 minutes to go and check something out, and it's generally during breaks and that sort of thing. Now, the reason I don't investigate alone, 2 reasons really. One, if something happens, again, health and safety wise, if you trip, if you fall, if you hurt yourself in any way, you're in an abandoned location or whatever the case may be, and you're on your own, anything can happen.
True.
I'm not something paranormal. Something paranormal could happen to you, and you could get such a fright that you fall over and hurt yourself, or whatever the case may be. So, on the health and safety side, do not investigate alone, because you can end up really badly hurt, and then there's no one there. They're on the other end of the location. 2, if something paranormal happens, no one's going to believe you.
That's true.
It's your word against everybody in the world. If you're alone, you do not have another set of eyes or another person there to verify the experience, then you have discounted that completely. You've discredited that entire thing that's happened. So you can run in there pale as a ghost and shout, I've just literally seen an apparition. And you know what? Yes, that's great for you. You've had personal experience, but no one's going to believe you.
No, they're not. That is very true. They are not.
So what's the point?
Well, MJ, we're nearly finished the whole hour, believe it or not.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, I'm talking the high note for donkey again.
No, you're absolutely fine. Now, before we wrap up, though, can you please tell everybody about the Paracon and where they can get tickets and where they can see what you're doing and whatever? Please.
Well, next month, the 10th and 11th of November, we are hosting the Sage Paranormal Convention, the Paracon, at Coombe Abbey Hotel in Coventry, West Midlands. Now, there are still tickets available for this. It is a 2-day convention, so we have lectures on both Saturday and Sunday. Saturday night, we have a vampire masquerade ball with a couple of live bands. We've got karaoke, but we have some amazing guest speakers, guys. So this is your opportunity to come and spend the weekend with Katrina Weidman from Paranormal Lockdown, with Chris Fleming and Barry Guy from Help My House is Haunted, Aaron Sagers from Paranormal Pop Culture and Paranormal Paparazzi. We also have Karen A. Dullman, who is from the Talking Board Historical Society, and she's also a very well-known author. We have Dr. Callum Cooper, who is representing the Psychical Research Society of London. We have psychic medium Barry John, who is a fantastic medium. I mean, a lot of people know him from several different events and psychic development workshops that he's done, as well as being a guest on a TV show as well. So, you know, we've got some seriously amazing speakers, guys. We've got Richard Estep as well, who's known as the Ghostwriter. He is also from a TV show called Haunted Case Files in America, and you'll know him from Paranormal Investigators, the TV show here in the UK. So you get to hang out with all of these speakers all weekend. You get to listen to their talks. It's a small event, guys. It's really, really small. So it's very intimate. It's not like Comic-Con where you pay $20 and you're competing with 3,000 other attendees. We're under 100 people.
Yeah.
It's a very small, intimate event. We've got stalls, we've got lectures, we've got a green screen photography booth. You can have your photo taken with the speakers and have it printed at the time and have them sign it for you, which is a really nice keepsake. There's just a lot of really nice teams coming along. So you get to meet other credible people in the field that want to share locations and that want to share what they know. And it's a great networking event. So it's £65 for the day to come and spend the day with us for the lectures, either Saturday or Sunday. We also have a team discount or group rate. So if you buy 4 tickets, we'll discount them to £48 each.
Wow.
So anything, so it's £48 for the day to come and meet Katrina Weidman and all of our other guest speakers. And if you get your tickets pretty soon, you could stand a chance to win some prizes too. So you can get tickets from www.sageparacon.co.uk, or you can find us on Facebook and just drop me a message. I'll be happy to help.
See? Don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it.
It's going to be a good event. This is the 3rd year, so
wow.
It is growing slowly. It's, you know, the word's getting out. It is one big happy family. We call ourselves the Sage Tribe. Come and join the tribe. Come and have some fun.
Fantastic. Well, all it remains for us to say, MJ, is say good night to everybody.
Well, good night, guys, and thanks for tuning in. Kaz, thank you so much for having me on board with this. This was fun.
Thank you for joining me. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.